All right.
You got 1 second of screen capture.
Yeah, feel free to meme that, boys.
All right, what's going on, Common Sense Philosophy? All one of you here today. That's great.
Oh shit!
Starting off with a bang. Let's go.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull up YouTube.
Wrong day. Late coin Moses. We're good.
What's going on, guys? Knights of the hexagonal table. We got 5 people. It's 1 less than 6. So
that's definitely true, man. I mean, I guess let's start this shit off, man. Like, oh crap, there's some big news going on.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Capsulated steaks and
bacon wrapped steaks.
Whoa.
Tasty.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, what the fuck are they? I don't really get it.
Explain it to me.
Yeah. So what me and Wasabi were talking about earlier was like, this could go one of 2 ways. I'm not quite sure. I have to catch up on the Crypto Sparbook stream, but it could be essentially like each stake is an individual unique NFT that's then tradable, kind of like its own unique thing, or it could be some kind of an open market for T-shares, like an open pool where you can trade sets of T-shares around. But like the T-shares are non-fungible, but stakes are unique, right? Every stake has like a stake address, so that is unique, right?
Right.
So I feel like they would have to be, because like public keys are non-fungible. You can't copy a public key.
So what I got from the Sparbuck channel is Hex Bay is actually custodial. So technically Hex Bay, the contract that's on top of Hex, is actually going to own all the stakes that go through it. That was the only way they could actually do something like this. So Hex Bay is the custodian of all the stakes that are made on it. And the individual T-shares cannot be, they ended up doing it where they're not broken up individually. You can sell an entire stake, or you can see it to fruition, just like you could on the normal layer 1 Hex contract. But yeah, so Hex Bay is custodial. It owns all. It's evidently it's a smart contract that's completely locked. It's undergoing audit right now with Coin Fabrique. And yeah, it's brought up a lot of questions amongst the community.
So let's try to think of the advantage of when someone would do this, right? It's like I have 1 million Hex staked that I accidentally staked for 15 years, and I'm a short-term guy. I didn't mean to do that. I thought I could just unstake it whenever I wanted, but I'm impatient, so I want to sell it after, let's say, 30 days. So I can sell it to recoup some of my initial principal from somebody else that values it. And the reason that they would value it is because they're getting all those T-shares from your stake that they wouldn't be able to get today with the same amount of money that they're paying. So there's value for the seller, there's value for the buyer, and now there's this secondary market. It's almost like an NFT market. Hold on. I'm gonna call. Be right back.
I was originally like I think I originally talked about this topic like with Richard, but I forgot when I said this, like when was this? It must have been like early 2020.
It was pretty early on. I remember bringing it up to me.
Yeah, we were talking about like eventually evolving Hex from a CD market to a bond market, right? But one of the major hiccups with it was basically that, like what you were saying, right? You can't copy a public key, right? So my solution at that time was to make some sort of maybe a wallet, right? And then that way you could like essentially you're trading wallets between wallets to each other, like a wrapped stake or something like that, right? And then you would just have custody of your own wallet, which had a master private key in each. It's possible maybe each stake had its own private key, if it made sense. But you're like, the private key is like what you're copying and pasting, but you have to be careful with it and stuff. Then from there but that's that. So you could trade stakes. But then there was that whole secondary market stuff, and I couldn't figure out a way without having it centralized at first in order to set the prices until you have some sort of like an advanced, probably a bot or something, or at least an algorithm that kind of like helps set the prices or the price force for certain stakes and stuff. So obviously it could be like, let's just say you have a 5-year stake and it's 2.5 years in, and it's 100,000 hex. Then obviously, if you sell it in the market, you should be able to sell it for exactly that much, right? Or unless there's a premium for it, right? So sometimes, like, it depending, like, there can be misallocations in the market where for some reason in the market the 5-year stakes that are like 2.5 years in are like they're selling for about like 80,000 hex. So there's arbitrage opportunities to do there. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the interesting things where like you could pick up a lot of cheap stakes during downturns or during like stressful times. Maybe Bitcoin takes a huge dip for liquidity, and during that time you can start essentially making money between like 20, like let's just say it's 100,000 hex stake, but it's selling for 80,000 hex. So you just you buy the difference of it, and especially if it's like halfway in between, or you're doing. There's a lot of different strategies you can kind of do with it and stuff. I mean, I haven't really publicly said a lot of this stuff, but this is some of the stuff I've talked to look into crypto with. I talked to him privately with all this stuff.
I was actually just thinking about the like the maturity date, because I'm sure that'll play a factor. Well, that would have to play a factor into like the valuation of it. So I'm just thinking, like, hypothetically, let's say you have a 15-year stake. And then you're 7 or 8 years into that stake, there's a shit ton of interest that's accrued into that. So basically all that interest that's accruing at that high APY, you have potential for really huge premiums later. This is assuming basically each stake that's bought or sold is unique, meaning they're non-fungible with each other. So it's almost like a kind of like it means like basically one T-share in that market can't be exchanged with another T-share because the maturity dates are going to vary between the two. So I would imagine like the initial, like if somebody, like in what Crypto Coffee was mentioning, like in the case somebody gets impatient and tries to sell a 15-year stake 30 days in, I would think that shouldn't really have I would think they would even potentially lose money on that stake because the maturity date's really low. But if you have like a 15-year stake that has a much further along maturity date, that offers more people to speculate on the future value because there's already so much economic mass that's already wrapped into that stake before the maturity, before you mint your coins.
That word that you said right there, speculation, is literally the number one use case of all cryptocurrency. So that's why I think of anything like our, kind of partnership with QuickSwap or anything new that we're doing and that we're innovating in, it's going to bring in new speculation. So you got to account for that factor in the base hex price, even though we're going to be trading these stakes and people are going to be trading them almost like NFTs, right? Not really, but you get the idea. They're separate things. They're not the actual hex. You're going to be bringing in all this new attention because this is the first time anyone's ever done this in crypto. And so it brings in the only use case of crypto right now, which is speculation, to its core, basically.
Yeah. I thought Earl, he's the main dev that came up with HexBay. I thought he brought up a kind of a cool point that these encapsulated stakes are essentially also like a time capsule, right? So like, let's say we're 5 years into Hex and someone's just finding out about the project. They actually will have the ability to go back and get T-share rates that they wouldn't be able to get to today on the original Hex contract. So that was kind of an interesting proposal. And just like Dollar Cost said, maybe we're in a downturn. Maybe you can get a discount on a stake like that. Maybe someone's no longer interested in holding that, willing to sell out their position for less than market value, however that ends up being derived in the future.
It's really interesting because like I thought of like the little of a ratchet. Imagine people just make a couple of like, if let's just say if it's a secondary market, and obviously it does, there has to be a holder of it and stuff. That's why I kind of came up with that whole idea for the wallet, because that way you could have a trustless, decentralized version of that. But if you don't have that wallet, you have to have somebody be the custodian. So there is risk there, which I want to remind everyone of. Be careful, right? Like if you're going to buy something, then you can have custody of it and then somehow get the stake to yourself, then cool. But if it's like you're not, if you got to wait until maturity into that entity, and then that entity can then pass you the hex after it's matured and you pay the gas fees on it, then there could be some problems there.
Yeah, that's what like that. It's kind of not totally DeFi to a point. It's almost like your Ren BTC bridge at a point where there's like a couple guys controlling a multi-sig wallet, which might be okay, right? Or what you could do is, and people aren't doing this, right? So most people have more than one stake. but you could link a private key to one single stake and then sell that, right? You could sell, but then again, it's like, how do you know that the person before you didn't just fucking copy it?
It's sort of like you're trying to sell like your World of Warcraft carry on eBay. Like you're trying to sell.
You still know the password and stuff.
Yeah.
Big Booby 69 is the password.
Right.
And you have to be careful, right? Too, like, so this makes it much more appealing for people to start probing and trying to attack this contract, because imagine a contract that's filled with nothing but Quattro Cinco hex stakes. Like that's gonna be worth a lot of money someday. So like it's undergoing that audit right now with Coin Fabrique, but if it is compromised in any sort of way, like that's it. All those stakes are compromised.
Oh, so maybe what you're saying is the way that they're doing it, though, when you mint new, let's call them wrapped stakes. When you're minting new wrapped stakes, you can't retroactively go back and make an existing stake wrapped because it wasn't done through the Hex Bay smart contract. So what we're saying about trading old like Genesis T-shares probably is not going to happen.
No, this would be new stakes moving forward, not legacy stakes. So they're referring to legacy stakes. And then
you guys,
what's up?
I mean, I'm talking to the guys in the chat, man. You guys are awesome. I was checking on my places to show the link for the stream. They already
got you.
Yeah, they got me already.
Good people. But that was so that was another concern I had, and I don't know if it got answered during the Sparbook stream as much as I wanted to. So maybe I can get a little bit more clarification on it earlier. But I do, to me personally, and I could be wrong, it feels like it cheapens the legacy stakes to a degree for me, because there's obviously a lot of people are just going to be rushing to do more Quattro Cinco stakes, so the maximum stake they can to get the best T-share rate they can for the longest period of time. Whereas eventually that's going to increase our average. And for anyone that's new with Hex, the longer the staking average is, you have to be at least staked out to that average to maintain your maximum APY. So any stakes that are below the average, their APY is going to continuously go down. So I did kind of bring that
APY though. Like I don't think that's true, because like there's no cap on, like there's no hard ceiling on the APY.
I said that incorrectly. I mean, the main thing that I was just bringing up, as the average moves out further, because people are more willing to
lower the APY.
Do a Quattro Cinco stake, the average is going to move further to the right. That needle is going to move over. So all those stakes you had in the past, their APY will begin to drop. As long as if HexBay starts gaining traction.
Isn't the APY rate not based on the average stake length of all stakes?
No, it's based off the percentage that's staked, but all your legacy stakes, as the average moves further to the right at an accelerated rate, because now there's something that enables you to just make almost infinite amount of Quattro Cinco stakes and still be able to sell them at the same time. It makes people a lot more motivated, or a lot more willing to stake it out further. And so I think if it gains traction, we're going to see that staking average move way to the right, a lot more than we would have seen naturally. So like right now it's at 5 years. I could see it going 6, 7, 8 rather quickly if HexBay gains traction.
I think you're right, but I don't think it's going to move as quickly as you might expect, because it's not wise for somebody to go ahead and just make a whole bunch of 15-year YOLO stakes and then go try to trade them off right away. They're not going to get any money for them right away. Like the market needs to be like a mature bond market, which is what we're talking about.
We're in crypto. I'm talking about the DJs out there. Come on, they're definitely out there, and we'll have to see. It's gonna be an interesting social experiment. But that we're in a space full of degens, so it could.
It's also an expensive attack, though, right? Let's say, or not. It's not even an attack, but it's expensive if you want to do large quantities. So people might not just be doing it for the hell of it if they have to buy up thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, and like, let's say people make a whole bunch of 100 hex stakes. Well, it's a weighted average, right? The length is a weighted average, the average length. So it's like
don't do 100 hex stakes, anyone.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. But,
don't do that, anyone.
That's going to be a little drop in the bucket, not even going to really move the needle. Yeah. So
I think time will tell. I think it's also going to be dependent on how much traction HexBay actually gets. There's numerous factors that are going to play part of it, but I can see that scenario playing out. And again, it's just time will tell on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to call any. Well, we I gotta be careful. Like the thing is like because it's a little centralized. Like he could be a nice dude, and I don't want to throw any shade at him. Like for real, like he could be a really cool dude. I haven't talked to him. I haven't watched his stream or anything like that. It's just there's a chance of a rug here. There always is. And when you have a centralized entity, if you have that much power controlled under one address, controlling all that hex.
They say that the contract's locked with no admin keys. No, that's what they said. Yeah, that's what it said.
And I'm not trying to insinuate anything or anything, but we just
Well, and that's the problem too, right? Like we don't know, guys. Like we're not as knowledgeable as we need to be on this. Like this news has only been out for like a day, so a lot of us still have a lot of reading, a lot of research, and a lot of stuff to look into still. So take everything with a grain of salt today.
Short term, if this ends up like really picking up, this could like really increase the price of hex because it's going to make like the circulating hex really rare. And the thing is even if it waits hex longer in terms of like everyone's doing like 15 trying to sell 555 stakes, it just dries up the supply a lot, and it could lower the APY a bit, but it's just going to help drive the price higher pretty much because eventually people just stop doing it, and then they're like, oh well, I just made all these 15-year stakes, and they can't emergency unstake them anyway, right? So it's like, oh shit.
Whose channel is this on? Are we on yours?
We're on DC's.
It's on mine.
Cool.
What do you think? Looking into crypto.
Why are you?
Yeah, I have to. I think the custodial aspect of it. I think one way or another, that's always going to be a risk. I mean, if you look at Grayscale, for example, they have a lot of economic mass, and that does constitute like basically as a risk for the entire cryptocurrency market. Because theoretically, like, not that I think this would happen, but if Grayscale got leveled, like the entire market would die, like with the amount of Bitcoin they have in their possession. So a lot of it, yeah, I think the custodial aspect of it, like that's going to happen one way or another in crypto. It's already happened with Bitcoin. It's happened with Ethereum. And a big part of it is if you look at the equities market as a reference point, I mean, that's pretty much like that whole market's custodial, but it's also like I mean, we're talking trillions and trillions of dollars. So it's going to be a very long time before most of the market moves into like a condition where most of the value that's being transferred is like in a decentralized market, whether it's through Ethereum or some other chain. But I think there's a lot of economic mass that does exist in these custodial markets that isn't going to enter the market otherwise. So you're right. It's like there's always the risk part of it. I don't know. I guess I don't really know enough as far as like how the like Hexbay is supposed to work. Like I think what I'll do is I'll wait until there's more details on that, and then I'll kind of like I'll look into it like once more information is known, because cause truthfully, like all of us are like, we're all speculating how we think it's going to turn out, but we're speculating on like, if these conditions happen, here's what could potentially happen. So for now it's like we're speculating, but we'll probably have like another conversation for sure, like once there's more details in the future. So the idea sounds really interesting, though. It does sound really interesting. I do have a lot of questions. I as a starting point, I'm assuming like all the stakes are not fungible with each other, and even stuff like that, like once stuff like that is more well known, it'll be easier to kind of have, I guess, some of these conversations.
It's just such a big hype thing for Hex coming out. Like this could be a giant news event. I mean,
yeah,
it's also going to be just, I want to read into the contract, and it's getting audited. So, we're going to have that. It's getting audited by Coin Fabric, which is amazing. But
yeah,
I'm going to look in it for admin keys. I don't really know much of what I'm doing when it comes to looking at smart contracts, but I understand like what functions are, and like I'm not a total noob. So it's like I can get some level of understanding and then try to communicate that to you guys. But it's going to bring a lot of people attention in, even if it's not something that I would ever like really recommend to anybody that's new, right? If you're new, just get in regular old stakes and do it the old-fashioned way that we know works, and do it the right way. But like, if you want to experiment with some of this other crazy shit that's being built on top, I mean, there's going to be derivatives, right? We can't tell people not to do derivatives. Like, people are gonna, like, when derivatives are out, you know, degen's gonna degen, right? They're gonna fucking long and short it, and it, you know, people are gonna get wrecked. But
be careful.
Yeah. Greg says it'll make it more volatile. Hex is already volatile. I'm not sure. See, I don't know if wrapped stakes will have any real effect on the underlying price. That's what I'm really curious about, because again, when you buy a stake, you're not buying the hex, you're buying the stake. It's a secondary market.
I think they explained that as well. I think you have to pay for it in hex, so the price pressure is still there. It has to be bought in hex.
That's cool.
So
that means
so that aspect should be price positive. So it applies price pressure to hex. It
Can I say one thing real quick?
Awesome.
I totally forgot today the Discord Syndicate was streaming.
I know. I did too until.
My bad.
What you call
it's actually probably a good one too, because it's like whales only and some new guy. So like,
sorry, they'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some other coins besides Hex, but that was like, we were like, dude, this has been like the news right now.
Right.
Yeah, it's
news.
Sorry, right?
What do you guys think about the Quick token itself, like the Quick Swap token?
I like it.
I like being a liquidity miner and mining it, making a lot of money off of it right now. I like that aspect. I don't know much more about it after that.
Yeah, is it really like a governance token? Because I mean, if so, it's probably just a speculation, useless utility token. But like, I mean, right now it's worth $500. So
yeah. But isn't the total amount of tokens on it supposed to be like 500 million?
It's a low supply. It's like 160,000 circulating supply, 1 million total supply. And the emission schedule is based on it's basically emitting coins to liquidity pools for this ongoing liquidity mining incentive program. Right. So you provide to the pools, like the Hex pool, we have a Hex ETH pool or a Hex Quick pool, you get a ratio of 10 Quick per week, which is like $5,000 a week. So if you're like 50% of the liquidity, you're going to get $2,500 that week. So it's bringing a lot of hype to this Quick token, and people are buying it for speculation. I don't really know what it is for, other than to reward miners and maybe governance, but I don't believe in governance tokens long term, because I think that I would venture to say 95% of people out there don't really give a shit about governing the token, right? So it's like they're going to get bought up 5% that do give a shit about it, right? Like the Uniswap owners are going to buy all the Uni tokens like they already have, and they're going to use it for the governance aspect of it. But hey, you can speculate on Uni too, like that's fine.
So Internet Lurker brought up a good point too. So MetaMask sent out a tweet earlier today. They were streamlining all this, like going to layer 2. So essentially the video that Coffee did earlier on his demonstration, it's going to become a lot more simplified with MetaMask streamlining.
I'm already outdated. I'm already absolutely
Isn't that crazy? Like that video is literally outdated now. Like that's nuts how quickly.
I mean, I can't wait for MetaMask. That's really fix for them. Go ahead.
Yeah. It needs to be done.
I was just gonna say, like this is actually really good to see, because there was threads I was reading on ETH research from Vitalik Buterin and a bunch of other ETH researchers, and basically what's happening is everybody's going all in on layer 2. So the goal is to have every single mainstream wallet automatically by default set on layer 2, and then even exchanges like Coinbase, when you withdraw your coins, you're actually withdrawing it on layer 2. This is the long-term goal. This isn't how it is now. So seeing MetaMask start to transition into that layer 2 process is really important, because that is really where the future of Ethereum lies, as far as where most of the volume will go through is through layer 2. And then if somebody wants like wants the withdraw back onto layer 1, I think that'll be more of a niche thing sometime in the future.
So I have a quick question on Hex. So will we always probably remain on layer 1? Is there a way to transfer legacy stakes to layer 2, or are we essentially more or less banking on the fact when layer 2 becomes more just essentially the norm, that layer 1 just becomes freed up, where we go back to just pennies on the dollar as far as transactions?
I think it's a little of both, right? So I think in the near term, we're going to let the lemmings, all the shiny objects, and be kind of our guinea pigs for us. And shit hits the fan, they blow up, not us. I think that's a very safe strategy. But I will say that Optimism and ZK rollups as a technology have the ability to basically just wrap existing smart contracts. So with minimal effort, you can wrap the entire Hex contract in an Optimism rollup, theoretically, and like with the push of a button, now you're using Hex on layer 2. Now, what does that mean for the Hex that's being used on layer 1? I have no idea. It's going to be like hairy. If we try to go that route, it's going to be complicated, right? You're going to have to be like, well, are you staked on layer 1 or are you staked on layer 2? But maybe it just comes down to like there's a little switch on go.hex.com and you just flip back and forth, right? Because really you're just switching networks or switching layers.
And that's like what MetaMask is doing. They're really making it just streamlined. Like you can literally just go in there now. You can just click a button and you're on layer 2. Like they're already, and how quickly they made that adjustment was pretty impressive, especially for the crypto space. Like it's actually nice to see innovations being applied at a quick rate and it actually have a useful function as opposed to the past.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there definitely are solutions being worked on. I mean, when they mentioned the Polygon being implemented into the MetaMask, I mean, I think it is cool to see solutions to like the gas problems, I guess, being worked on. And whatever the long-term solution is, no one kind of knows right off bat, but it is nice to see like the layer 2 stuff and the quick swap stuff. I haven't messed with it personally, but it is cool to see the innovation happening.
Yeah, plus
nowhere too. Out of nowhere, Matic did all this shit. Out of nowhere, dude. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, they probably just saw it as an opportunity because Synthetics was really the first DeFi protocol. Like Synthetics is actually one of the earliest DeFi protocols. They've been around for a very long time, and they're basically setting up. They will have a very liquid derivatives market at some point. So all the optimistic rollups, Synthetics is really the first one that's going through the development process on that. They have different phases on their roadmap. So I guess I do like the idea of having just other players in the space kind of be the guinea pigs, because at a certain point, the tech stack for all that stuff is going to get built up, and then you don't have to create anything from scratch anymore. And then at that point, like the risk of something going wrong is like really low. Once everything gets battle tested. So I think basically just having the liquidity as a starting point, even on layer 2 is great, because now you basically bypass all the gas fees, and then the state, like how the stakes mature on layer 2 versus layer 1. I'm not really sure how that works, but even with the existing stakes on layer 1, like theoretically the gas fees we have now would actually end up being lower, assuming the demand stays the same. So it just would transfer over.
ETH 2.0, which is going to be a year from now. And I know most of you have stakes that are a year and up from now, right? We're going to get ETH 2.0 in under that time frame. When that happens, it's going to be at least a 10x throughput increase, and like fees are going to come down massively, because imagine you're just going to have 64 different Ethereum blockchains running, and you can just run on whichever one you want and like split up all the little transactions into all these little, they're called shards. Like shart, but like whatever. And yeah, I mean,
poop.
Poop. God damn it.
Yeah, poop is funny. But yeah, so it's fucking gonna be awesome. Like I don't think people realize like how like people act like this is gonna be a permanent thing. Like gas fees are just gonna be, oh shit, we're fucked forever, guys. Let's all go home. Like no, no, not at all.
I think this is really gonna set aside.
God damn it. Oh, this guy in the chat, Long Me Salami, is just starting shit between me and RG. Fucking motherfucker.
Put one headphone on this one and one headphone on the other.
Yeah.
Try to listen to discourse while we do this.
Jay knows all about sharding. I know. That's right, Hexmac.
Yo,
Jay's a sharding professional.
Yeah, that is actually the sharding is actually I can't even take it seriously now. I'll stop now.
No, please continue.
Somebody else continue.
All right, about sharding, dude. So
number 2,
a big chalupa, number 4. Pablo sauce. Just fucking
Now I know why they call it layer 2. Got it.
I mean, I think this is really going to set aside like Ethereum, even from like Bitcoin, as far as they've mentioned, like a lot of like the scaling solution problems. When you mention coffee up into 64 different like ETH networks or different layers, that's efficient as far as the actual transaction throughput goes. That's going to be impressive.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And then you're gonna have some random stuff running on Polkadot, some kind of shitty stuff on Cardano, I'm sure. Like I don't know what apps are built on top of there, but like I don't see ETH going anywhere. I see it winning this whole thing.
Yep.
And there might not even be there might be a second place and a third place, and that's okay. Just kind of like how there's Bitcoin and Ethereum, and now there's Hex, and that's okay.
But look at all these like cool new concepts and technology and everything coming out on Ethereum. Like, what does Bitcoin have? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Copying stuff that the Ethereum devs are researching, so they're on the forefront of optimism and zk rollup. Everyone else, Binance Chain is like thinking about maybe copying that now because they're like, oh, you know, they're funding all the research, but it's all the Ethereum research that's doing it. So
yeah, that is absolutely true. The Binance Chain to me is mostly just the gap filler before all the layer 2 stuff takes off on Ethereum, which it's going to happen much faster than a lot of people are expecting, because once you have incentives set up with liquidity pools, it's going to make its way onto layer 2 very quickly. So all of that will get taken care of, and there's already too much of a network effect around Ethereum to really disappear. We've already seen historically, if you just look back at the entire market cycle of cryptocurrencies since Bitcoin's inception, even though Bitcoin is a piece of shit, but because it's been around for longer, people still trust it, and you kind of have that same Ethereum is solving a lot of problems, but it also has a lot of trust around its network as well. So there's it's really powerful having those components. The only like what I'm thinking is like maybe 5 to 10 years from now, I'm speculating basically it's going to end up being Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then I do think DOT is going to have staying power in this space I don't think it's going to be Cardano because there's no value that's being generated
there.
but Polkadot at least has like they're basically bootstrapping their entire ecosystem with they're trying to basically generate value from the get-go with their parachain auctions, and then plus there's going to be bridging onto Ethereum. But I still think ultimately long term, I think Ethereum is going to finish out as the number one, and then there's going to be potentially another network in play there. I really don't think it's going to be Cardano aside from bull market speculation.
Yeah,
BTC Kyle's not happy with you looking to crypto. he likes his Bitcoin. All right.
Yeah, hey, we're not saying it's a bad investment. It's probably going to go up. Probably going to stay around for a long ass fucking time.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin.
We don't have this.
Definitely. Like Bitcoin for me is like because also Ethereum itself carries risk relative to Bitcoin. I mean, you see there's gnarly swings on the ETH to Bitcoin pair on the price chart through the bull markets. It's just in an offensive sense. I would take Ethereum over Bitcoin in a bull market, but if I'm accumulating cryptocurrency in a bear market, it's only Bitcoin for me until there's more basically there's better like market structure after a long period of time bottoming out. Bitcoin has historically, like during the bear markets, it is the best one to buy during the bear market because you don't know where every other coin, including Ethereum, is going to bleed out relative to Bitcoin during the bear markets. But then after you have enough time, like you can start scaling into these other coins. And I kind of go with there's kind of an analogy that Ben Cohen made where he calls Bitcoin's the dog, and then Ethereum is kind of like a cat where it makes its big moves when Bitcoin is kind of in more of a consolidation. So I think we're going to keep seeing that kind of market behavior so long as we're in a bull market, which hopefully it goes on for many more months.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I still have some Bitcoin. I have Ethereum, and just curious though if anybody out there in the chat it does not like Hex or hasn't looked into it. Just what are the questions about it? Because we're here to answer questions, and like I'm a pretty hardcore Hex fan. Pretty obvious with my background.
Couldn't tell.
Totally fine if you don't like it. Just curious on what like the hesitation is. If you guys have any comments.
Or if you've used it. If you haven't used it, it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
actually comment on it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you could read some articles and get the wrong idea. I understand that.
We got a
Everyone wants you to talk about Cell DCC. They're fucking begging.
Give the people what they want. Give them the Cell Moon math. They're tired of the sideways action for the past like barely a month.
Yeah. Thoughts on Cell product market fit? If you're on mute, bro.
You can do this. Give them the whole moon math spiel on mute. Yeah, you're good.
God damn it. Well, pretty much in terms of its market fit, I mean, it made the whole fucking market in terms of like earning interest and stuff. That's kind of like its market fit. My thoughts on Mashinsky, he's probably one of the top CEOs in all of cryptocurrencies. Like in terms of just like the stuff he's done, it's insane. Like look up his resume, it's fucking ridiculous. Like how many like he made multiple billion-dollar corporations, took them on the I think on the NASDAQ. I think he took them public and stuff. And then he knows how to run a multi-billion-dollar corporations, and he knows how to start them up and get them to that place. So I'm pretty confident on that. Honestly, I think because of like Alex's age, this may be his last project in terms of like he might retire on this. So I because like at least Alex Mashinsky in terms of being he's a billionaire already. Alex is already a billionaire, so it's not really too much about the money, other than maybe just, of course, adding a couple, getting another couple billion, of course. But I think it's more glory for just kind of like Richard and stuff. It's the same thing for like Alex. It's more of just like what he's remembered for. Because I really can't see him trying to stay with Celsius for another 3-4 more years, then stopping for a bit, then going to start another one, and then grinding for 3-4 more years, and then before it gets success 2 years later. So it's like, will he be in his like late 60s when he's doing this? You know what I mean? It gets to the point where like I don't know if he'll be able to. You know?
Yeah, I think most of these guys that reach that point of wealth, like they don't need anything else, right? Like they're content, and like you just said, it's more the provenance that they're seeking at this point, and that's their motivation. The monetary value, it's not there to them anymore when they've hit that point of wealth in their life. Yeah. Once you have the finest of everything, what do you still need the money for? Keep the lights on? Like, okay, it's pocket change.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the point that a lot of people miss on, but like Hex too. It's like we can speculate, sure. Like, what if Richard owns the origin address? It's like he'd be the person I would want the most to own the origin address because he's the one that doesn't need any fucking money at all. Like he's purely for like changing the world type of play and like making a new store of value, a new wealth creation machine. And he wants this to be around for hundreds of years, like as long as the Ethereum network is around. So they're both playing these very long-term games that I think a lot of people aren't even thinking on that time scale. A lot of even people that build crypto projects, they're thinking about how can we get this thing to pump in the bull market. They're not thinking about how is it going to survive the bear market. So yeah, I think Celsius will be around for a while. I think Hex will be around potentially even longer because there's less regulatory risk because it's like totally decentralized. So they're both two big winners, I think.
It's healthy for the crypto space to alter their mindsets more long term than these just cyclic periods.
Richard mentioned the Mt. Gox coins, like $8 billion worth, possibly coming back on the market soon or being unlocked or something. Does anyone know anything about that? Because I don't.
Yeah, that's
happened.
For him to mention because nobody's talking about this, and that's probably what kicks off the next bear market. Like there's a whole $8 billion worth of Bitcoin is becoming dumpable at any minute whenever the legal system decides to figure it out. And thankfully it's really slow.
Yeah, the coffee's right on that. And that's really the only advantage we have is how slow they are. So there was an article I was reading with the Mt. Gox coins that they're going to have some kind of meeting in October. So it looks like we're good until then. And then what remains, like even after they have that meeting in October, what the question at that point is are they allowed to dump all the supply on the market from the get-go, or is there some kind of like vesting period, or are they going to try to do some OTC deals? Because I would think at least like for those coins, to me logically it would make the most sense to try to do OTC deals, because you're going to get the best price without basically nuking the entire market. But if it ends up just being an exit, that for sure, as Coffee mentioned, will absolutely cause the next bear market for however long, because that's a lot of supply getting introduced at once. And it really doesn't, like, what a lot of people don't realize is how few coins it actually takes to completely nuke prices, even in bull markets. It's really not that many coins in the grand scheme of things. Like, really, most of the people actually are not, like, most of the holders, literally, they never sell, but it's a very small fraction that ends up getting dumped that causes those huge bear markets. And it is going to happen, and that those coins can definitely, those coins can definitely be responsible for the next one.
Yeah, totally. I mean, DC, you're on mute again, but
I was talking to somebody. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, one of the big challenges that James has just pointed out is Hex is not on many big exchanges. It's on 22 exchanges, but they're all centralized and like smaller exchanges. And it's on YoBit, it's on Hotbit, but it's on Uniswap, and that's for a reason. It's because like with Hex, we really want to push actual DeFi. And we want to get people to use good products like Uniswap, like QuickSwap, and like, you know, other stuff that we like that interacts well with Hex and the ecosystem. So when Uniswap fees come back down, yeah, I think a bunch of people are going to feel comfortable putting in way more money, because they're not going to have to pay $70 for a $100 transaction. So that'll open the floodgates, but really that's kind of just opportunity right now. I mean, it's basically like a gate that's keeping people away. And once that comes down, you're going to see a lot of people flooding in. So if you can afford higher transactions and higher gas fees, or just, you know, directly to L2, right? So that's another thing for James. If you want, you can go directly from global.transact.com and you can buy ETH directly into the Matic network and exchange it for Hex instantaneously for 0 fees, like no fees at all. So we're like, Hex is pushing layer 2 harder than a lot of other coins right now. Right. I'll tell you, like, I'll send you the links right now. If you guys want to buy, you can buy WETH directly to Matic Network. Make sure you click the Matic Network dropdown, and then you can send it directly to QuickSwap.exchange and swap it directly for Hex.
Yeah,
that's the. I spelled it wrong.
I've been speculating for a while that we're probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised after a while that Coinbase doesn't start selling like L2 ETH on the exchange. I think me and like Look Into Crypto are like laughing like little kids about this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
they are. Yeah, they for sure. Like, because they're also probably gonna add synthetic assets onto Coinbase at some point, like synthetic F, like synthetic Tesla or whatever comes up in that derivatives market.
Yeah, but right now this global transact.com thing is for any amounts less than $500, you can buy anything, and you can buy it with credit card no matter where you are in the world. And it can go directly to the Matic network. All you got to do is flip a little switch in your MetaMask that says you go from ETH mainnet to Matic mainnet. I made a video about it, so if you want to just watch the video, you know, it's one of my old videos.
Can you link it in the private chat? We'll put it on the.
Yeah, let me link that video.
Unfortunately, it's only a $500 limit though.
But yeah,
but like I always. It's a pet peeve of mine that a lot. I'm not trying to shit on.
No, you're good. I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just like, it would be nicer if it's a larger amount, but it really is nice because like the way I accumulated all my Hex and my Celsius and everything else that I've gotten, especially early on in 2019 and early 2020, was like after I kind of blew all my dry powder. How did I do it? I mean, I just got to work, did more hours, did more jobs, and then just $80 here, $50 here. Oh shit, $500 job. Woo! Did that, you know, and that's exactly how I accumulated my bags. It wasn't like magic. It was just through DCA. I mean,
hard work, more hours, sweat and grind. But you just have to be a little bit more careful with that now, and just consolidate a little bit more, and just make fewer, larger and larger purchases every time. Just with the gas fees
just
right
use
now.
QuickSwap right away. It works
or
out today.
You still have to go back out though too.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
you gotta back it up in. You gotta. Get
so the fees are still there as well. So between transact fees and getting out, there's still it's still a considerable amount. It's not quite as much, but you're not saving that much at the same time.
But
So.
can I give you some big hype news though? Some more hype
Yeah.
shit. Like,
Yeah, for sure. Go, dude.
fucking Andreessen. Well, you already know this, DC. Like Andreessen Horowitz gave $16 million to basically the best fucking developers on planet Earth for Optimism, right? And they hired the most genius fucking people ever, and they pushed what was going to be Uniswap V3. It was going to be released in Q3. Now it's going to be released sometime in March, right? So not even 30 fucking days. So like, if you're complaining, 27 more days, guys. That's all you got to wait. Like,
Yeah.
You want to know something else? You know what else launches in March? Optimus rollups for synthetics as well.
yeah, synthetics, dude.
Shit's about to pop off.
It's
Uniswap and Chainlink, I think, are the three, right? They're doing Optimism right off the bat, like right away. Yeah. Right. I don't know, DCC. I'm looking at you on that one.
I didn't hear you.
Those,
You said
Yeah, you are muffled a little bit there.
sorry. So the three projects that are going to use Optimism like right off the bat is Chainlink, SNX, Synthetics, and Uniswap, and then
Aave.
Aave. Okay, Aave.
Aave.
Yeah.
And then there are going to be some other ones too, but it's just like in terms of the major coins on Ethereum, yeah, those. And then this little coin called Hex one day, possibly. And
Right.
and a lot of cool stuff I had. And then yeah, it's going to be kind of crazy. But the reason that they're doing this on March, but you know what else happens in March? A little coin called Kusama is having something I like to call parachain auctions or ICOs, right?
Yeah.
And what the first competitor to Ethereum in a long time, all these magical, wonderful things on the same month that they're also doing their stuff. Huh? Strange.
Don't
It's
buy
almost
any
like-
of those parachains. Be careful of those. Kusama and Polkadot, though, those are probably better investments.
Did they actually was there like did Gavin mention as far as because there was an article where they were getting audits for the parachains contracts.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything like since then. So wait, did they say like they're like the audits are good or something like that? And
At least on some of the initial like Kusama stuff, I think on the Kula or Akala.
Yeah,
Akala, yeah.
Dude, what the
Yeah.
fuck is that name? Is that two separate things? Akula
Yes.
and Akala?
Yeah.
It's like Wakanda, except not.
So
Come on, guys.
So it's like all right. The best way I can explain like Kusama and like Polkadot is Kusama is like literally Litecoin and Bitcoin, right? So like Dot's Bitcoin and Kusama's Litecoin, except they actually like each other, and they're like, oh, dude, we're best bros. And like when you see Litecoin and Bitcoin, it's like Bitcoin just kicks Litecoin all the time, like you little motherfucker out of here. It's an abusive relationship where like these like the Polkadot brothers and stuff actually care about each other. So
They pump each other.
they pump each other.
Yeah.
So everything that launches on Kusama will launch on Polkadot, but Polkadot's going to have their own version of it, except it has to be tested on Kusama. So if you want to get all the new hot shit and stuff that's a little buggy, but it's like really cool, you go on Kusama, you learn
Good
it.
luck.
And then, yeah, good luck, right? And then eventually, once it's all vetted out, then it gets launched on Polkadot, and then it works perfectly on Polkadot. But then they will keep the Kusama version of it as well.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be two separate markets at some point. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird because you're gonna have like double of all the good smart contracts now. Is this gonna be like a new like happening and shit? Like
No.
fork or whatever?
No,
Family
it's
feud, and they just go their own ways.
no, it's a lot. It's the way they do everything. It's a lot more planned. Like it's kind of cool, but it's also a little slower. So they like it's more planned. Probably obviously because they took Chinese money, but like it's a little more planned the way
That'll do it.
Yeah, well, yeah, the way they drop their stuff. So I mean, I in terms of tokenomics for how they're doing their parachain auctions, it's really cool because it's way better than Ethereum is because Ethereum's basically just like, woo, I'm launching a project, like that, right? And these guys, there's actually rules and there's like a staking thing. Like the teams aren't actually getting your coins when you stake them. It's just proof of concept. So it's almost like banking, where like the banks are open, they take your deposits and they show like, look how much deposits I have. Okay, then the central bank will print you money, but they don't actually take your coins, right? That's kind of the cool thing. It's just it's essentially when you stake your coin on the network for the parachain auctions, it's like a vote of confidence. Like, yeah, I trust this project. and then the more people that staked for that project gets more of the essentially the what's called like the corporate funds and stuff that will be allocated to those things.
It's called vesting periods, right? Vesting periods aren't anything new, but like now they're doing it on the blockchain.
Yes, correct.
Yep.
What's up, Brian? What's going on?
Yeah, Brian.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Brian, what's on your wall?
Just like comes back in. What's up?
I got a whole bunch of photos and got a little neon light with some hex colored lights there. But
What's all that hexagon stuff? Is that your favorite crypto?
oh yeah, got hexagons here. Shit, where don't we have hexagons is the real question, man.
Brand's like our merchandise, like pack cam. We just got anything you need hexagon. Brand can supply it for you.
Dude, I need to get the shirt with the actual vinyl, man. I've been doing it wrong. Been doing direct to garment and need to do the heat transfer vinyl, man, so that magenta can pop a little bit better. I've been fucking up.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
But it's
What do you guys
Solana,
have about Solana?
I'd be lying if I told you I knew anything about that.
I know nothing on it.
Take it away, DC.
It's in bed with FTX exchange effectively. That's kind of like the whole thing with that chain is it's pretty much just like it's financially backed by FTX exchange, and that's pretty much the most depth of knowledge I actually have on it as well. It's
FTX is they ran into some trouble because they were partnered with is it Link or something? I don't know. No, Binance Smart Chain. They were getting pissed off at Binance Smart Chain. But FTX is like they just bought Blockfolio and they're a pretty good exchange, I guess, but they're centralized. So I don't know what else there is to say about FTX.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. And the reason they made all their money too is basically they're synthetics before synthetics. So they're full derivatives market. You can put longs and they actually really have puts and shorts and stuff. And puts and calls. Because like in crypto, how you can long and short, right? That's everyone kind of knows how that works already. But like the puts and the calls are a little more advanced version of that. But you don't like. There's projects like Hedgic that have like a decentralized Ethereum version of that, which may or may not work, but it's not exactly like the puts and the calls. This is kind of like Wasabi's wheelhouse because like I don't really do any of those kind of trades, at least even when I was in equities, because I just stayed away. I mean, I maybe calls, but I never did any puts because I don't like shorting.
Yeah,
it's a good move.
I mean, shorting is really, really, really not smart. Like
Correct.
Everyone in like I can't say anything nice about shorting. If you're somebody out there that thinks you can make money shorting, like it's only a matter of time before you completely blow up your whole account.
Yeah, don't be
long everything. Just buy everything and fucking hold it forever, guys. It's fucking easy. Just do it.
Yeah. Wait, were you talking about? Were you talking about options?
Yes, I was talking about options.
Because if you do covered, you're not. There's no shorting if you're doing covered. Like people basically use things like covered calls for generating passive income. It's like once you start doing like naked calls, that's where you're gonna get fucked up big time.
GameStop.
Now you're leveraging. It's like basically the risk profile of like you're shorting the market. Basically, it's stupid, so dumb to do. But yeah, if you want, easiest just buy, hold, and do nothing. That's the best strategy.
It just makes mathematical sense to long as opposed to shorting every time.
Yeah, it does, because basically the more, even if you just look at it in terms of, how many decisions, like the more decisions you end up doing, the higher likelihood that you're going to end up making a mistake at some point. At least that's how I think about it. So I just don't think that's any different in like markets. Like because what it is like everybody, it's even like when people are suggesting like bull market tops and things like that, everybody's just guessing. Like nobody knows shit about fuck with that stuff, and it's at some point it's gonna happen. But it's
I don't know shit about fuck.
So it's
that was funny.
But just buy and hold, and like that's it. That's strategy.
Buy everything, dude.
Cool.
Even Beanie Babies, even Yu-Gi-Oh cards, everything that you fucking had as a kid. If you held it long enough, you're winning right now.
I would have shorted Beanie Babies. That's about it. I'd short those motherfuckers. That's it.
Yeah.
Wait. Sorry, I cut out there for a second. Which one was it?
Beanie Babies?
Oh, Beanie Babies. Yeah, those had.
I've got a couple of Pokemon cards I can show you guys. If you want to see my Pokemon
Yeah,
cards?
yeah, let's see him, bro.
Yeah.
Mass Bro Effect over here said BitBoy says Shorty is cool. Yeah, what a faggot.
Yeah, of course he would. of course BitBoy
as he cries on his videos about losing Bitcoin.
Even in a bear market. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, if you're listening to a guy that has a fake cartoon character that named BitBoy, this is not, just kidding. I don't know. He's okay. He's just kind of,
misguided.
Not smart. He's not educated.
Well, what do those people have to benefit too when they shill those links? It's they're making money and kickback off that. So
don't worry, he'll make up his losses with your referrals.
With your losses.
Yeah.
I will say this at least about BitBoy. He's growing a little on me in terms of like not the shorting stuff and all that stuff, right? But in terms of like I've seen him on a couple of crossover shows with some equity guys.
Stefan.
Stuff. He actually was pretty knowledgeable. At least he made crypto look good in terms of
that's
like
good.
Yeah,
I gotta be careful talking shit too, because it's like we're all trying to hold ourselves like in a good light and be respectable members of the community. And as long as someone's not out there doing completely reckless behavior or talking pure shit, it's as long as they're doing more good than harm. I would say you can be cordial with them, and you have something in common with them. We all believe in the core principles of crypto, but I don't like when people show trading links with margin, because a lot of people lose money on those, and I don't like it at all, but whatever.
And then you leave a bad taste in your mouth with crypto space, and then we go into those 4-year bear markets where no one wants to touch the stuff. Like, it's sorry, boy, you're not a faggot. I'm sure you're a nice person, but I just disagree with you a lot.
We don't know about your sexual orientation.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure you like women. I hope.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like what Molly just said. When a bunch of people wrecked on trading, they don't come back into crypto for a long, long time. Like a lot of people in 2017, they're out forever. So what you're doing for short-term adoption is good, but you're not thinking about the long-term adoption. Just buy and hold and invest. Do what DCC is at the very least. Hold things for a month or 3 months or a couple months. Don't be in and out in days and weeks. It's not a days and weeks game. It's a months and years game.
Right.
Richard talks a lot about that with like Ponzi schemes, like Plus Token or OneCoin, all these things that could have brought users to like crypto adoption, but instead it leaves a bad taste in their mouths, obviously, and that's never any fun for those people. But I guess that's why we've got better things, right? That they can eventually find out.
It's just so tempting to talk shit, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's the lowest hanging fruit. I mean, it really is.
I know.
But like, you're right. I mean, because it's like, let's just say we all last a long time in crypto in terms of like being on the internet and stuff. Eventually, we'll get to the size where like we're some little small new guys are just talking shit about us for some fucking reason.
Right. Yeah, it's easy to talk shit from the bottom, right? It's like not once you're on top, it's a different story.
Well,
I mean, people have said terrible things to me too. But.
So BMA said this too. He's like, it's bad. It's a bad first impression when people new to crypto learn from BitBoy. And like, see, I agree. Like, I would prefer them to learn from someone like a Dollar Cost and Charlie and their course, because their course builds up these no coiners from the ground up. They teach them how to be secure, how to have possession over your own crypto, how to try to suss out what a safe project is, that a coin's actually doing what it says it's going to do. Like, they're actually trying to make the space better, whereas BitBoy, again, it just comes down to shilling the damn referral link or margin trading. It's just behavior that's ultimately going to get these people wrecked, regardless of what information you provide.
I mean, I could tell you how BitBoy basically got big is just basically he just invested a ton of money. I mean, I'm not trying to say nothing bad about him, but in terms of like he has like a team of 10, 15 people helping him put the social media. It's not just you would like, damn, how does he make all this content and everything? Well, you just come to the office, you do a bunch of stuff. You have someone help write topics for you, right? Mm-hmm. You have someone collaborate back and forth. Someone's doing all your thumbnails. Someone's putting up your videos on Twitter, on fucking Facebook, on Instagram. Then on TikTok. And it's really like when you see BitBoy, you're actually looking at like it's a corporation of people.
It's the same thing with Chico Crypto, and I really do respect like Chico's attitude on not being part of the system. He's not a corporate sellout like a lot of these fucking YouTubers are. Like I like Chico a lot actually, but he's like got a team of 5 or 10 people too. And what I gotta wonder is how do these guys have enough money to pay all these team members? Like I mean, I guess when you're crypto rich, it becomes easier. Greg B, what did Greg say?
Sorry.
The course is coin agnostic, which is refreshing in the space.
Yep.
Never realized how maxi people can be
Toxic
until I got
as
on
fuck.
Clubhouse. Dude, be careful on Clubhouse, man.
I have yet to go in there, but I hear great things.
Dude, I got to rant on Clubhouse for a second. Holy fuck, these maxis are giving the worst financial advice I've ever heard. They're telling, like, I wasn't like some of these I almost.
I'm not surprised.
They're
Like,
telling people to take out loans and
Yeah.
fucking buy more Bitcoin.
So fucking stupid.
sell your car, dude. Yeah, dude, just go get a loan at the bank.
Just
Just
get-
fly to the bank.
Mortgage your house. Fuck it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah,
Literally.
I know.
And it's insane. No, it's a-okay when it's Bitcoin, but everything else is bad, right?
Yeah, and they wouldn't have been
Right.
saying that when Bitcoin was 3K. Now they're saying at Bitcoin 50K. It's a lot, pretty fucking reckless, don't you think? If Bitcoin's only got another 2 or 3x in it, if Bitcoin goes to 100K, you got a 2x, and then you're gonna get everyone wrecked after that. Like that's it.
Yeah, I'm actually really I'm pretty excited to see how it turns out with like Mike Saylor, because I've heard something with like loans and shit buying like Bitcoin at $52,000. It's like I mean, it's just the whole thing is just it's hilarious because you basically have these billionaires that are entering the space that could have bought like it was $3,000 like even in the bear market. And I mean, I guess I really shouldn't talk shit because like it's pumping everybody's bags that's holding crypto in general. But it just goes to show like the whole. Just because somebody has like more money than you doesn't necessarily mean they're better at managing said money than you, because like I think there's going to be some pretty nasty narratives that come about in the next bear market because again, yeah, like buying now, as Coffee said, that you have 3 to 4x on Bitcoin. It's the risk level is just it's so if that, yeah. I mean,
like
I'd be happy
just
if Bitcoin at 100K.
optimistic.
At 100K, I'm looking into selling pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Making some profit this guy.
Well,
Yeah.
that basically
Take your profit.
there's basically the holders that end up basically de-risking some of their bags, and then those Mt. Gox coins. I'm fucking watching that shit
like a hawk.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
a
that's
hawk.
gonna be the straw that broke the camel's back. It's all
For
this
sure.
NFT nonsense, and then it's gonna be just fucking airdrop of Gox coins and wrecked everybody.
Yeah.
And NFTs are gonna get wrecked first. Bitcoin's gonna get wrecked slowly because people are gonna keep buying it, sucking on hopium on the way down. But
and you have larger, and so we do have something new to this bull cycle too. You have these large companies that actually do hold fairly large positions in Bitcoin. So there's a slightly different dynamic this cycle than we've had in the past.
Yeah.
I do
it'll
think
be
that there's something to be
interesting to
said. There's something to be said for companies being a little bit not quite too big to fail, but they are the smart money, right? So they're not going to let their bags get lower than the price they bought in at. Most of them. Some companies are going to lose on this run, but companies aren't going to be buying the top, and I think that's why we've got stuff to go from here. Because if Bitcoin crashed from here, a lot of companies that just bought in would be in the red, and they don't want to do that.
Yeah, at least we have an Elon bottom somewhere. I think it's around 30K. So
Elon's gonna say fuck it and dump everything into Doge just for the laughs.
Elon and Sailor, I'm sure they talk on in StreamYard or whatever offline. Like they have conversations.
Elon doesn't care.
The Elon floor, dude. That's a new term right there.
Yeah, pretty much. It might be.
When did Michael Saylor get in? What was it like?
Well, he started buying. Like I think he started buying actually around like $10,000. He's just been accumulating, I guess, the entire, or maybe it was either 10 or 20. I don't remember the amount.
It was 10. It was 10 for his personal money, I think. 10.
Oh, okay.
And then the micro strategies.
It took a lot for the corporation.
Yeah. I mean, it'll that's one way or another. Like at least his economic mass can help like support a price floor somewhere, because at the end of the day, like for Bitcoin to literally go into like become a reserve currency is which I do think it is going to happen at some point in the future. It's going to require countries adding it to like their balance sheets. I don't quite think this is the cycle for it. Wherever the cycle top is, we'll get a gnarly crash, and then during the next bear market, there's going to be corporations that haven't quite stepped in the game, and then just possibly even we may even start to see countries starting to hoard up the supply, adding it to their balance sheets. Yeah.
I think they
Oh,
already
they-
are. I think Bulgaria has a significant amount, and a lot of
Not Bulgaria.
like China. Yeah,
China
watch
has a lot.
Bulgaria becomes the new powerhouse in the world.
Yeah.
No, but China and the U.S. have a lot that's not really on their balance sheet
Confiscated.
because it's confiscated, but technically that's government. Oops, sorry, that's
They got
that's
it.
like
What are you talking
Yeah.
about? You can't confiscate Bitcoin.
unconfiscatable, tone based.
You can't do it.
Yeah, it's totally
Anyway, guys, I
secure.
gotta get going.
Totally private, you guys. Totally
Yeah.
private. Oh, you
Well,
gotta go,
guys,
copy.
It's been a good time. Peace out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you, coffee.
Later,
brother.
Coffee. Take it easy, man.
And then there was 4. Oh,
There were 4. Yeah.
You know, I think there's a lot of market conditions that a lot of people don't consider, and I haven't been on Clubhouse personally because I've just got the Galaxy and not the iPhone, but yeah, that is kind of something
Good
that
man.
I saw a lot of, right? Yeah, in 2017 was like people recommending to buy crypto on credit card and refi and loans and stuff like this, and that's where you really start getting ultimate degenerate. I mean, crypto is the highest appreciating asset class. The last thing you need to do is like over leverage yourself to end up screwing yourself and digging a deeper grave,
Okay. So
Wow.
70K.
there we
Bitcoin.
go.
All
Not
right.
coming out with the numbers.
Well,
Never seen it again.
I guess if his cost average is around 22, I actually don't think we're gonna. I'll be very surprised actually if we do see prices around 20,000 again. I think the next bear market bottom, I was speculating maybe around like 40K.
40,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple buys
see
will
that.
pop. Apple buys.
What's that?
I think
Apple
Apple.
buy.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's gonna
I
be
can see
one.
that.
It's either gonna be fucking Amazon or Apple. It's one of those two, or Google. They buy the top. I swear to you.
Apple's got to wait for it to be really trendy before they hop in.
Yeah.
all the cool kids are doing it? Yeah, we'll do it. I mean,
Happy-
isn't Apple supposed to have like a new crypto wallet built into their new smartphones now? I heard something about that. I don't know if that was true or not.
Hey,
Anyone
heck,
wants to correct me
what's
in
the
chat?
second part? He
What's
said-
that?
He said there's like a second part or something. Huh.
When BTC 1 million. Oh, I got a question for you. Kind of throw you under the bus a little bit, DC. But our internet lurker said we'll grow ever
Thanks,
come
bro.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still developing and everything. It hasn't gone to zero or nothing, but it's what happens when you get hacked. Fucking sucks.
I think it just cut. Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to say. I was like waiting, and I think it cut you out. It's going, and then you just cut out. Oh yeah, you're lagging. You might want to go off camera.
Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Now we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's still alive. I think they're still developing on it. They're doing like their grow token on. I think they're doing Groot. Groot was actually great marketing. They have really great marketing at Grow and stuff.
Oh, I
think
see it now. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're gonna need a couple of months or so or more, or at least Ethereum pumping and stuff for them to get the confidence back from the market and stuff. Because they basically burned some people's hands on them getting hacked and stuff. But it wasn't the team hacking. It was literally bugging the code. It just is what it is. The main contract was actually the main contract for Grow and all that other stuff was actually audited by Consensus. So it was a good audit firm. That's why they didn't get hacked. They went cheap on the audit. That's what fucked them on
Bite you in the ass every time.
Yep. They went cheap on it, and they got the Aave contract redone from that main company that's expensive. And look at that, no bugs. Whoa,
Yeah, amazing.
But now a little too late, because honestly, if that hadn't happened, that token probably would have hit like $300, $400, or $500 per token because it was heading towards that.
How's Rune doing right now? I haven't checked on Rune in a while.
Amazing. Fucking a hedge fund, a certain hedge fund I know about just bought like 10% of the fucking supply.
Damn.
Pretty-
Wait, which hedge fund?
Multi-chain. Let me see. Let me try to find the name of this fucking place. Yeah, Multi-Coin Capital. Just bought it. Just bought a bunch of it. Here, I'll just throw you the link real quick in the chat. Let me see. There it is. They bought a ton of the supply about like, what is it like? Was it yesterday? No way. No, on the 23rd of last month. Yeah, so a couple days ago, about a week ago.
All right. Ripped my grow stack. Just hold it, Internet Lurker. What do you have to lose? Like DC said, if we start ripping again, it might come back.
Yeah, it can come back. Yeah, the thing is the main thing you want to see is that the devs are in the chat talking. People are still there. It's that whole thing with community. Like you got damn, I keep never getting around to it, but I need to teach the course guys and a lot of people about the box, which is the box is the 4 most important things in the. Why am I doing my camera's off? Wait.
You actually doing the box thing right now? All right, guys. So you have your box.
Yeah.
Try to come back. Try to come back to us, or I can simulate the box for you.
Right. So it's like yeah, but I want to do it a little bit more in detail. But like basically the box, is basically who's the leader, what does it do, who's the does it have a community, and what are some of like the bigger investors, essentially, or what's kind of the money backing it, right? Or the exchange listings and stuff. So obviously if a coin like something like Doge, right, is just basically it's a joke, but it's got a community, so it doesn't die. So this is why community is really important. But like something like a Hex has community, plus it has a use case, plus it has a leader, right? Like something like Celsius has a use case, has a community, has a good leader,
right?
Places to buy it. It's that whole thing. So when you have a coin that has all four, it has a very, very good shot of surviving. Like something like Cardano, right?
It's an incomplete box.
Right. It has a community, but it has a leader, a charismatic leader who's always streaming all the time. That's what's kept Cardano alive and kicking. So, even if you don't have great product market fit, or your product's actually not doing anything at all still, but if the person hasn't rugged and they're trying, it's going to do something. Like, I'm not just shit on the Digibyte community, but the Digibyte community pretty much just stayed alive because the main guy, who Jared, I think, was kept around. He literally started the whole coin in his garage. Literally in the garage.
Cardano community's missing a chromosome. Does Coinbase offer Cardano?
Coinbase? No.
Yeah, no.
Binance USA does.
Okay.
It's not available on Gemini or Kraken or anything else, I don't think.
It's got a couple other little things that people don't really think about too. It's just the unit bias. It's still a cheap coin, which is good for during bull runs and new no coiners coming in. They see that and like, oh, and it's got a cool name. It's Cardano. Like every Halo nerd wants to jump in on the coin. It's like, oh, it's in the top 5 or top 6, whatever. Yeah, I'll pick some of that up for $1. And then little do they know they just bought the top.
Probably like $3 to $5 CNBC. Well, cool guys. I think I'm gonna get on out of here too and go eat some dinner. But thank you, Dollar Cost, for the invite. Motley, look into crypto. You guys are geniuses. I didn't talk a whole bunch on this one because as far as layer 2 stuff goes, that's really not my repertoire, which is nice to learn from you guys. But I think where we're going as a market in general, as long as you can be holding on to things that are going to be long term and have product market fit and aren't going to get hacked and stuff like that, then that's going to probably do well. So
try out layer 2. It's not that bad. It's pretty easy to understand and it's nice to actually use.
Right. If you're the type of person that can do a MetaMask and use Uniswap and figure that out, you can figure out layer 2. It's not that hard.
Yep.
Well, because that is a big deal with last thing I'll say, like with MetaMask, like in the future, to someone's point earlier about it automatically being implemented, where you don't have to take it off the first or second layer, but maybe it's just hidden behind a user interface. I think that'll do a lot for like the actual scale of everyone having it on their phone. So. Slowly but surely.
Yeah. For sure, man. What the fuck is going on?
All right. Later, man.
See you, Brad.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.
Dude, they're like, you're
What?
long knee salami. Motherfucker, like what?
Lami
He's like,
salami.
they're still staring at a disclaimer on your boss's YouTube 1 hour from 1 hour ago. I'm happy you're streaming here. Homie,
guess-
he's not my boss, dude.
Yeah.
The fuck are you talking about, man?
Independent, bruh.
No, we're cool, dude. We're buddies, man. It's like yeah. There's no shit. I'll be on the Discord again.
Did you see Internet Lurker's Celsius question?
No, where is it? Let's see. Here, I'll just highlight it. If Celsius platform starts to go into hyper growth mode, won't they hit a roadblock in deploying assets to generate yield? No, because there's just the market is so hungry for dollars and crypto to lend and stuff that they can't keep up. Actually, the whole basically everybody wants coins to borrow on and stuff to do stuff with. So for either for flash loans or to pool it and stuff, because your crypto is being used as essentially liquidity pools or
and
just
DeFi.
and DeFi and everything. I mean, like a lot of people don't know this, but like Celsius is pretty much 20 to 25% of all the money in DeFi, like all of it. They're the hugest player in DeFi, and the market. This is why there's such a miscommunication in terms of the Celsius price and the Celsius coin itself. That's why it's growing so quickly. Like, it's 450,000 people on the app right now. It's trending towards about 2.5 million in a year.
How do you think? So I kind of pondered this when. How do you think Cell does when we go to a bear market? Because like that's where I kind of start leaning more towards Hex, just as far as the trustless code it's gonna mint me my interest regardless of whether we're in bear or bull. Whereas I feel like Celsius might be a little bit more reliant on the influx that we have during a bull cycle. How do you think it's going to handle it come the bear?
It will drop. I mean,
obviously that.
Yeah, it will drop in price, but the one beautiful thing about this is they'll have a lot of cash on the balance sheet, which most companies do not. I mean, so I'm not saying it's not going to take an 80% dip. It will.
Yeah.
And I fought people on that shit. They're like, no, there is no way. Maybe I'll give you a 60% drop, but 80% there is no way. Right? It's like,
way.
It's it will happen. It'll happen to Hex. It'll happen to Bitcoin. It'll happen to everything.
Yeah. The thing is, if it all depends too how expanded the entire market gets. Like, if Cell ends up being a multi-$100 coin, it probably, along with the rest of the market, is going to crash like 90-95% from wherever its cycle top is. That's just how the market cycles work, repeatedly over and over again. So I think basically all it really comes down to is like it's just going to end up having a much better performance than a lot of coins in the market. So it, wherever its top ends up being, like it could still be at prices like higher today. I mean, this is all speculation. Like, we don't know how long the bull market's going to go on for, but the entire market and the bear market's getting nuked. Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything. And then if you're not holding anything that's not Bitcoin, basically is going to get punched in the face harder. That's just how the cycles have always gone. So just be mentally
punched hard.
Oh, it's getting punched really hard. Yeah, for sure. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think basically it's going to be the same game every time, and then you'll have opportunity again in the bear market.
So I don't know if we go ahead, DC. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just answering a question. Just I can answer it afterwards.
Oh, I was just gonna go into a little bit on the stable coin talk. I don't know if we've done it on this channel yet. Maybe we did on the last one, but so I know we've talked about it before in back rooms and stuff, but this might be like one of the last cycles where we can really rely on stable coins like USDC. Does anyone know of anything in the works of a truly like stable coin that we don't have to worry about a freaking off switch?
Nope.
There's nothing in the works or anything that you've heard of?
There's some.
That's scary. That's scary.
Dude, they peep this shit out right here. So one of the me and Charlie were really looking into Maker Token as an investment, and we were going to recommend it. And then what ended up happening is that there was a huge vote on making DAI multi-collateral, and a couple of centralized entities bought a fuck ton of the supply, i.e. Coinbase and a couple other players, and essentially they bought enough of the governance token to then sway the vote to go multi-collateral, which is fine. If it was Litecoin and then Bitcoin and Ethereum, and all the everything else, other coins are decentralized, right? But they ended up essentially making it 49% Ethereum and the rest of it centralized stable coins. So effectively they made it a little, it's not fully centralized, but they made it more, centralized. So it was actually more DeFi out and stuff back when it was just ETH. There was the risk of DAI. The problem with DAI is it can lose its peg easy in terms of if the price of Ethereum just has a collapse moment where it just goes down 40-50%, and then at that point its assets that it has in the accounts doesn't make sense. So if you have $1 million of DAI and you have $1 million of Ethereum, it's a 1-to-1 peg, right? You're doing A-OK, but then the price of Ethereum drops by 40% and stays there for a while. What ends up happening is you have way more DAI in circulating than you actually have dollars in Ethereum. So then from there, you have the price of DAI goes down towards like 80 cents, 90 cents, 60 cents for a while, and then that's a buying opportunity. And then when you buy up the DAI supply up, and the maker contract then ends up printing more maker token, diluting the supply of maker, then using those funds to purchase Ethereum to shore up the account. That's kind of how it works. So there's this whole point where like you could actually you take a haircut for a little bit. Some people decide to buy up DAI. It works out, and then everything's okay, and then you make a lot of money on the way up, because if I remember correctly, if DAI goes down 20% and it goes back up, it isn't like you just gain 20%. You actually go up higher. It's like you earn 30%. It's kind of because the percentage, it isn't like just because it goes down 20 and goes back up. Now your new cost basis is 80 cents. So when your 80 cents turns up to $1, it's actually 25%. I'm sorry, it's 20. You're up 25%.
Sorry, I'm distracted by Francesco over here. He seems to be broken. He keeps repeating sell. Better be careful, bud. I might just start talking about Hex if you want sell that bad. Keep going with sell though.
You guys, we'll do a Celsius. We'll do a Celsius stream one of these days right here. We'll talk about it, and then we'll talk about some other stuff. But we're just trying to answer a general question and stuff. So, but I still like DAI. It's cool and everything like that. But the thing is, it's gotten riskier. The whole market can be kicked under it.
Exactly. That's why I was trying to stress to him. This is very important. This is something that could potentially obviously the government can't shut off the internet. They're setting up something that could give them a kill switch to crypto if they so choose to use it. So it is a very important subject that not a lot of people are familiar with, and stable coins are a lot more important than what you think. They could bring this down.
This is they have all these I'm trying to find basically all the assets that are locked in Maker, and it looks like they have these custodial versions of the coins, which what? It's yeah, I don't know. I'm not liking what I'm reading, so I'm not using DAI.
I think it's literally USDC for this cycle, and then I think after that,
I agree with you.
I wouldn't even touch that. Just keep it in ETH.
Yeah, at that point, you're right. You're better off just spreading it out.
You're probably talking about a nice price ETH, even when we go through the bear cycle, depending on how high we get this bull cycle. But,
right.
Yeah, I think after this run, definitely look at just holding your stuff in ETH. BTC closest. BTC is stable as long as we don't get another inflation bug. As long as they don't try to update anything.
There's just a lot of what ifs in life, man. There just is, dude. There's just life's risk. It really is.
And crypto's about as risky as you can get.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
the upside though. The upside.
Yeah, we're playing at the rim of a volcano.
just dancing up here, making money, trying not to fall in. Hoping this bitch doesn't go off.
Yo, but if we're really talking about danger, man, there's some guys in the chat right now raw dogging the wrong girl, bro.
What are you talking about?
Like they're like, is crypto risky? As these guys are just having unprotected sex with some floozy.
I've nothing to read into, but okay. Hey man, condoms don't feel good, all right?
Trojan man.
Paper millionaires, yep. Yeah, I think Coffee has a good stance on this too. It's honestly more risky not to be in crypto at this point. It's where we're heading.
Mm.
Grab your bags while you can.
Yeah, I had that feeling with basically like equities markets. Like I'm holding, like, even in my retirement funds, I'm holding far more derivatives of crypto than actual things like equities, because I just don't really see as much opportunity like on the side of the equities markets. Even though there are like some good plays there, it's just I just know I'm going to make bigger gains with crypto over time. So,
dude,
gains.
That's way
well, and that's why it's important to take your profits and then start. DC talks about it all this time. Start building up a granite foundation of other investments. Start looking into some real estate portfolios. Get a couple multi-unit buildings. Get some stocks. I guess it's hard because they're not as exciting. But shit, like, government's not gonna let that shit fail. So start building out your other assets. It's as tempting as to stay in crypto and continue to build up just generational wealth. You gotta diversify to some degree.
Right.
Don't lose it all. Don't try to keep riding the top of the bull market and lose everything. You're gonna have Go ahead.
Peak buyers are the ones that are are doing an airdrop right into the volcano.
Give me that shit. As they sink down to the pit.
Yeah.
What is that? 250,000 Bitcoin? Yeah, I'll take that.
At that point, they're just like basically grabbing onto an anchor. That's just a lot of mass that's just coming down hard.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Someone's got to buy the top. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, all equities, I mean, everything's going to be tokenized eventually, right? So it's like, but the tokenized side of it's not happen until next cycle anyway. So I mean,
well, that's why I figured even with the equity stuff, it's like, well, it's going to end up on Ethereum anyway, like through whatever. There's going to be synthetic versions of stocks. I mean, they already have one for they even have one for they have one for Tesla on synthetics. I'm sure we're going to see more of that. And if I have to pick, I don't know, just for ease, because I was talking to DCC about this earlier today. Like, I mean, for me, equities markets, like, it's not like, all right, so I don't try to necessarily, like, equities to me is just very boring. It's a very boring asset class, so I'm not really interested in really following it. Crypto to me is just awesome, mad gains, and it's just way more interesting. So, I just understand the market there a lot better. So I think basically for huge gains and all that, like, for me, it's probably going to be a lifetime of making just a lot of money in the cryptocurrency markets, and that's where a lot of economic mass is going to get stored. But really, for me, the strategy in the end is it's going to be like the real estate side to get those physical assets as like the hedge to a lot of all this stuff that's going on. So super important.
I mean, the talk. I mean, how much of that talk do you want me to? Do you mind if I see like a little piece of it?
Yeah, you could share it. I have no issues with that.
Okay. I mean, the one thing that I was telling Wasabi is, like, even though we both have done pretty good in the equities market and everything like that, it's easier. I mean, and I'm saying this with a grain of salt, but I mean, we can just easier to predict what's going on with Ethereum than we can with most basically any equity, because there's just information. The information's either everybody knows it and it's a non-event, or you don't really know what the secret information that's going on in the corporation to like be able to even have a play against it. So it's hard to forecast. I mean, obviously, it's like
you're not allowed in that club.
Right, and it with something with Ethereum, it's like we have an edge, even if it's a small edge. If we're at the casino and we know that, Ethereum, we have a huge edge on, like we have a 10% chance, we have like a 60% chance of winning. That's actually pretty insane in terms of like. So as long as you're playing long enough and you're stacking your coins, you're not doing dumb stuff and not getting wrecked out, you're gonna end up winning really big on the Ethereum. So it's like there's no market that we're watching closer than we are the crypto market, and it's a market that we're actually aging into, because this is a market like, I mean, I pretty much have been investing in since I was like what, I mean, in terms of crypto, I've been like what 2016, how old was I? I was probably like 24, 25 when I got into cryptocurrencies. I'm like almost 30 now. And pretty much I'm going to stay here for the rest of the decade. So, I mean, I'll be in my 40s still in cryptocurrency. So by then, like, I mean, like it's just a place that we're going to have a ton of information. And then like, we're going to stay pretty competitive for a long time. So, and then eventually we can start learning the equities game. But like the equities game, a lot of boomers they know that game so well because they were in it when it was young. So they know kind of all the little tricks and shit with it, where they're not really, there's no YouTube and like in the books, like a lot of these boomer books that they talk about equities and shit, they're not really telling you shit. You know, there's nothing, dude. Like, not giving you no tip. I mean, outside of like Warren Buffett Warren Buffett has some great, like, I really do appreciate some of his mentality stuff and everything like that. But you don't want a Warren Buffett book to get like an equity pick, like buy Tesla. Yeah. He's not dropping some tips like that. You know,
it's not rocket science.
Yeah. What is Warren Buffett usually preach anyway for invest? To be honest,
buy and hold.
Okay, well he's right about that.
Buy, hold, dividends. Big companies, Coca-Cola, Boeing,
Pepsi. I mean, yeah, his shit's timeless. I mean, it's so right. The only thing, like,
it's the thing basic as shit, but it works. Yeah.
Michael Saylor has probably the right idea in terms of every corporation in every industry. If it was gigantic, like Hershey's, right? It's a food company, right? It's chocolate, right? But it's a technology company. It really is. Like if you see like the factory and stuff of how advanced it is, and like how like it's germ free and it produces so much chocolate in like such a small space for what it is.
It's not exciting. It's not exciting.
It's real. But I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is like every company that was popping off, like right now, cryptocurrency is popping off because it's the hot.
Take advantage.
We're at the tip of the spear of technology right now, right? At some point, bringing electricity to towns all over the United States was the peak of the technology at that time, right? During the 1920s, when the stock market boom of the Roaring '20s started, the number one technology company in the world was something called like Ralph Radios, which is basically a telecom broadcasting company that essentially was just building radio towers in towns so everyone could have radio. That was one of the hottest stocks out there in the 1920s. So it's like at a certain point, like every sector is like the peak of the spear in terms of technology.
Know your worth. Said we need fusion power now. So I actually worked in the nuclear industry, and fusion's cool and all, and it's actually much safer. But the problem with it is you have to input so much damn energy, you get less of it back out. So actually, nuclear fission works just as well. It's much more sustainable, and it's not as harmful if it's run properly, like everyone thinks. So you actually don't necessarily need fusion. Nuclear fission actually works just fine and is great for power generation. It's much more stable than fusion. So you don't need fusion, honestly. Sorry. Yeah, now they're talking about. Hey, now we're talking my language. Yeah. So I'm in the Navy, so we work with pressurized water reactors, not the salt reactors.
Oh man.
But yeah, so like I think someone said it earlier, invest in what you want, invest what you're knowledgeable in, and most importantly, invest what you have an edge in. And like most of us all here, we have some degree of an edge in the crypto space, and strike while the iron's hot. Like right now, we have we're all of us on screen right now have gotten rich this cycle so far, and I don't even think we've even lit the freaking boosters yet. Like we're still ready to freaking go. So like we're gonna get rich this cycle, And then if we set ourselves up properly, we have the chance to become wealthy during the bear if you make the right moves.
Mm-hmm.
And then that next bear cycle, it's just gonna be fun. It's gonna be just pure fun.
It's pretty wild to think that because what's going to happen too is during this next bear cycle, it's the perfect setup for basically reaccumulating those yield generating crypto assets. I mean, you have it. You of course have it with like Hex. You're going to have it with like Ethereum. It's literally just having like passive income that's coming in for it's pretty mind blowing.
Become your own bank.
Yeah,
literally. That's all it is.
So, and then you're just gonna have chances to basically split up what you're. I'm gonna take DCC's term for it, but he calls it because they're basically ASICs. They're generating you yields, and then you're gonna have the option to like spread it out. Like you can consider like Hex like one of your ASICs, and then you could consider perhaps like one that I'm looking at is I'm looking at the liquidity pools on Curve Finance. And they have this one where it's an ETH to synthetic ETH liquidity pool. So if you get caught on one side, it doesn't really matter. But basically, that you'll have that as an option, or whatever liquidity pools, staking rewards, and as long as you play, you manage the risk correctly, it's completely achievable. And then that'll basically set up the next round of like wealthy individuals, except it's all going to get sucked into cryptocurrency.
Yep. It's gonna be exciting. I'm ready for it.
Fucking shit, my mic was muted. Oh,
what are you talking?
I was just agreeing with Wasabi and stuff. It's just, yeah. I was giving a compliment, and then I'm like, oh, fucking
lies. We'll never know. We'll never know. Here's your chance. Say it again.
Okay. I want to say that Wasabi had one of the best albums of all time. No, but like Internet Lurker, that's actually really funny. My ex-girlfriend was the best investor I have ever met. 13 years ago, she said, I buy Amazon because I use it. I buy Apple because I use it. I buy Google because I use it.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, that shit kind of works, but yeah, it's still like.
Is your girlfriend like a billionaire now, or what? Or did she just say that she would buy it and then bought like one share?
It was Wasabi. People are saying you have rhinestones in your collar.
That's cool.
Those hex rhinestones coming in.
That's right.
That magenta looks good on you, bro.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for reminding me about the ASICs thing. I was going to put that in the course. Holy shit, I almost forgot about it.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Well, and that's important too, right? With like DeFi and all these yield generating cryptos, like even say we do get into a worst case scenario where they try to shut off these stable coins, get rid of our on and off ramps, like having something that produces you yield will become invaluable. Like it's going to be those cryptocurrencies that do it and do it well, they're going to be worth their weight in gold. Like they're going to be next level. So it's important now to find those projects now and build those bags for your future.
Are their coins valued at present value of their perpetuity exchange? I'm trying to look for any. Let's see. How do you dollar cost average? Wait, how do you dollar cost effectively during a bull run at nosebleed levels? Say you have $500 a weekly. Well,
at nosebleed levels.
Nosebleed. I guess saying that like we're not at these prices pretty much. Like you right now, right?
This is like your last chance.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have one more chance if we get it. But basically, yes, this is your one chance right now. Is you buy a little ETH. You gotta buy the light blues and stuff. If you don't know, just join up to the course and shit. We'll talk about it. But basically, like you have until maybe like 3-4 months from now. We're probably gonna get a dip in 3 months, and it's gonna be a sizable one. After that point, at that dip, that's the last probably time you could be able to buy cheap in the market. At that, and then from there, we're probably gonna rock it up. for pretty much the rest of the year, and then from there we're probably going to get some type of correction, a big one, and then that could be either the top of the bull market or it's sort of like a fake out. It's sort of like a fake out, and then we're lagging out for 6 months, and then we wake up back in 22, and then that really crashes, pretty much. And that's if we go into lengthening cycles, and if we don't, then we top out somewhere in like January, February, just like last time, in 2017. But yeah, if you have like $500, and basically you got to buy like the blue, the light blues and stuff, like the synthetics, the Aves, the Hex, the Celsiuses, like you got to buy them now while you still can, because you're not going to have a chance to acquire them later on because they're going to be worth a lot. Like something like a synthetics could be like $200 in 6 months. That's how fast.
And I know everyone's got different levels of wealth and what they can invest, but like, yo, bust your fucking ass. Do some side hustles. Like you can go Uber, you can go whatever, DoorDash, whatever jobs you can do, like side hustle and try to boost that number up more than $500 if you can do it responsibly. There's a lot of side hustles that you can do and generate extra income for yourself so you can invest. But if you're just gonna, I mean, not to be like savage or anything, but if you can only invest a couple $100, like you're going to be in the rat race for a long time. Like it's going to be very hard for you to ever get out of that hole, because you can't even beat inflation if you can only afford to drop a couple $100 in investments. You really got to try to up that to the best of your abilities. Invest in yourself.
Yeah, the hardest is always getting that initial baseline that starts to, because it's really hard initially climbing your way up, because you make like let's say you make like a 10x on, let's just say $1,000, that turns into $10,000, but in the grand scheme of things, like $10,000 is like, it's hardly anything for investing. Like, but it could, like 10,000 in crypto obviously goes like it goes a long way if you buy during those opportune moments in the bear markets, because you can take that $10,000 and you can do like a 20 to 30x on it from just basically the blue chips. So then now, like, okay, now you've turned that into a couple $100,000, and now when you make even when you make something like a 2x, like on 200K, like just the amount of multiples and the economic mass you get on these multiples just starts to go up so much. So, but that also, like with crypto, since the market's still young, like these types of gains that we see now, like the next cycle after this, like Ethereum is not going to have the same type of like explosive gains, because it's gonna have more weight to it. So you'll also have to kind of look at those asymmetric opportunities that still have those potentials to make those bigger gains. Like I think something like Hex definitely will in the next market cycle, because it's not going to be as heavy compared to something like Ethereum.
Right.
Not $10 Hex by July or August though. Long me salami. I like Whales and I like his charts, but not $10 Hex. And I would love to be proven wrong, but I'd be willing to wager Whales 1 million Hex that we do not hit that price point by then. I hope we do. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't.
Motley, I hope you're wrong too. I really do.
I do too. Yeah. Jesus Christ, we could buy countries. Like, yeah, not gonna cut.
I bought California cash.
It's cool to throw that number out there, but it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
I hope I'm fucking wrong, but no.
We gotta stop doing that shit. We gotta stop fucking throwing these stupid ass numbers out. Like, right. It's fucking ridiculous. Like,
I get it's fucking crypto, but there's a limit.
Right, and like $14,000 Celsius, homies. Are y'all serious?
Chill.
We set a $14,000 cell token.
24-hour stream I did for Celsius or something. Like, I think we were retired or something in there, and some guy I was saying maybe we'd hit like, it's possible like all time high if we go into 22, maybe $400 or something like that, right? And someone just said like $14,000 sell. I was like, what?
Bro, when people start shouting these numbers out consistently like that, all I just see is top indicators.
Like, I was actually just thinking the same thing.
It's not a good sign. Like every time I see that shit, and all I can see is, well, there's a nice top indicator. Like, okay, and I'm seeing more and more of it. So I don't like seeing that necessarily.
I don't actually either, because what's a little bit nasty right now is the equities market looks disgusting. Like it's been getting its ass kicked the last like 2 to 3 weeks. So I've noticed like very similar market behavior there with penny stocks, very similar to like what you see with low cap altcoins pumping in the market, which we've definitely seen a lot of that recently. So that's like usually when the market starts to run out of things to pump, it goes for those totally useless like stocks or whatever and starts pumping the shit out of those, getting everything it possibly get out. But those are not like, I do not like seeing that stuff in markets because I'm like, fuck, like, oh, I mean, it's been really nice until now, but I'm just gonna keep it open, whatever happens, either way.
Yeah, see, like $100 sell, sure, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that much better. Let's keep it. I know it's crypto, but let's keep it realistic.
Yo, $100 sale is going to happen, homies. I'm just telling
I
you
agree.
right now.
I
I'm
can
just
see
saying
that.
it right now. I think I'm low, but I'm not saying fucking 14 fucking thousand. What the fuck?
Fucking cracked out of your mind.
Well,
just like $10 fucking hex. Like, man, trust me, no one wants it more than me. But
Yeah.
Let me tell you the market cap of Celsius if it was 14,000. The market cap of Celsius would be $2.3 trillion. 2.3 trillion.
Yeah, that's
someday maybe.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
this
if
cycle.
it survived 2 cycles, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but not now.
Not this cycle. Nope.
Right.
yeah.
Sorry.
100 is way more because that puts it at like, and it basically puts it like around like a 25 to 50 billion market cap range, which is in the realm of like that's
Reasonable.
definitely doable. Yeah.
Look at us shooting down the that you guys are at like fucking Pluto math. You guys shot past that moon.
Yeah, but honestly, like I don't think equities are going to completely collapse yet because the real
No, I don't think they are. I
Too
don't
much
think they
printing.
are. They're gonna
Go ahead, sorry.
It's pretty much how Molly said. They'll print their way out of it. It's just when I'm saying I'm bearish on equities, like I just don't see the opportunity to like make that much. Like my goal, like the whole thing with cryptocurrencies, like it's an opportunity to get ahead like decades relative to like basically all of our age, like compared to just our peers. And very few people get those opportunities because most people are scared, and scared money doesn't make money. Like the whole thing is like recognizing those risk to reward opportunities. So I don't see that really in equities. There's a couple things that are interesting in there. Like I know one of the stocks that I feel more comfortable speculating long term is something like Virgin Galactic, because it's actually doing something unique. It's going to be very volatile, but that's at least one of those plays I think has more opportunity. But I look at my opportunities in equities and then I compare it to my opportunities in cryptocurrency, and it's just a totally different, like it's a landslide how much
world.
more it is. And plus, like I just understand the market structure much better in cryptocurrency too. So for scaling out and like buying back in bear markets, like I can do that much better in crypto than I can in the equities market.
Right. Dude, Red's over here dropping bombs, bro. Damn. If I'm being for real, Red killed me with this quote. Let me see if I can find it. Jesus Christ. Red's like, I don't use wait, where is it? Jesus. Red's like, I don't use my money to buy crypto or some shit.
SpaceX will probably go public.
Yeah, they have there's an ETF it'll get probably kind of balled up into. It's like ARCX ETF that's going to cover space exploration. So SpaceX will definitely be one of those plays.
You know what's the shame about like traditional markets like that too? Like people like us never get first stab at that stuff. Like that all gets traded before it ever goes public, and that's another edge that crypto gives you. Like you don't have those, and those restrictions are put on us to protect us plebs, right? But we're blocked out of. We've essentially been cock blocked out of the traditional financial markets. So we'll create our own in the crypto space, and ours is heading towards the future, while traditional finance is getting left in the dust right now.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's why crypto's gonna take all their money. So they'll
All
be
of it.
buying. I'm gonna fucking take my bags. I'm gonna fucking smash it on their heads at a
they
very
can-
high price.
they can buy my bags at all time
Yeah.
Pluto highs.
Yeah.
So Know Your Worth wants to know, Wasabi, can you explain how to exit the market so that you can re-enter the bear market with a good strategy, essentially being able to buy in the bear market, build your bags?
Yeah, I would say like so my strategy on that is through the entire bull market cycle, I'm slowly building up a cash position in stable coins. So the one that I like the most is USDC because I trust that one the most as a stable coin. So if you've made something like even a 10x in this market or a 20x in this market and you haven't taken like any profits off the table, like in my opinion, like that's you're taking a huge risk there because you know the nature of the market cycles is everybody on Twitter, like your peers, everybody's going to be guessing to what the cycle tops are. We don't like there could be there all we have is a reference of what's happened in the past, but that doesn't mean like the market structure can't change like going into the next cycle and the cycle after. So if you're at the point where you've made like a 10 or 20x, like just take like 4 or 5% off the table, collect interest in stable coins so you have some dry powder. And then you can consider like at a later point in time, if you've made like a 20 to a 30x, just take some off the table and like you'll start to pile up like lots of cash, scaling out very small portions of your total stack. And that way you still have a lot of exposure, but you're not over leveraging. Like the idea is like, you don't know where the cycle tops are. So you never sell out of like your entire bag ever. Like that's very bad strategy. All you can do is just slowly take stuff out of the market. And like, that's it. Like you're not going to sell the cycle top. It's very unlikely you buy the bottom as well, like in the other direction. So just slowly and then just collect. You have options like with liquidity pools on Ethereum. You can collect interest on some USDC. You can use Celsius. They offer a killer interest on stable coins.
There's a lot of options out there.
Yeah, so you have a lot of tools. Yes. So yeah, the thing is like if going into these market cycles, it's good to have some kind of, you could even have like a scale out plan on a spreadsheet that you just stick to. Like I would actually consider maybe just having like a plan like in a spreadsheet and then just sticking to that plan, because the winners in the next bear market are going to be the ones that stuck to their plan and they're going to be buying a shit ton of coins. I'm telling you right now. It's going to be fucking retarded how many coins they can buy.
Freaking Wasabi dropping knowledge bombs. Meanwhile, Red's over here saying, I'm buying an electric scooter with my next 2X. All right.
That's such a Red thing to say.
Yeah, I hope you were listening, Red. Maybe hold off on the scooter.
Yeah. That's called the drip drop strategy, man. That's the ladder in, ladder out strategy right there, man. You're talking to the drip drop Don right here, man. Whew.
It's true.
Yeah, but I mean, I felt personally attacked by looking to crypto because he's been yelling at me to take profits for like a long time.
Bro, it's so hard, right? Like, and that's the good thing about looking to crypto, because like he actually does what he preaches and can do it. Meanwhile, with us, it's just like, I know you and I are a little bit more on the degen side, and we just want to keep it rolling, you know, keep building. It's hard.
Red Nitrous, how do you even go to sleep, bro, when you're like dripping that much in college, bro?
Needed for college, required for transportation.
So, and do you guys have any closing thoughts and stuff before we end the stream, man?
No.
Oh, you never posted.
This yeah. I mean, this is. I mean, we already talked about that, right? Like, this is y'all's last chance. Like, and even now, a little bit during the stream, like, I got a little uneasy on a lot of top indicators we just saw from you guys just talking. Like, seriously. So, like, this could be your last chance. We could we might see a shorter cycle than we've ever seen. But yeah. This is your last chance to get in before we take off, if we do.
Right. But remember, you know something, we're gonna have a guest for the crypto mindset course Q2. Our homie. Well, should I say it? All right, I'll say it. The Life of Randy Hilarski.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Randy's going to be in the course, and he's just going to give a breakdown of like what happened in his life, and also what happened in the 3 cycles that he was in crypto.
That'll be
much.
good.
And it's
Yeah.
a really, really
Life
important
lessons.
life lesson. Yeah, it's a really
Yep.
important story for people to hear because you're literally a veteran if you've been around for 2 cycles. You're around for 3 or 4. Holy crap! You know, like if this is so interesting when he, just to give you, I don't want to tell the whole story, but pretty much he sold a lot of his BTC at 10K, and 18 days later, Bitcoin topped at 20,000 in 18 days. So it 2x. I mean, that doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot when, like, if you know Bitcoin was $1,000 at the start of it. So you 10x'd your money at that point buying it. Well, actually, you even bought sub 1,000, really, honestly. But like, you know,
Oh, he bought way less. I forgot what his lowest Bitcoin buy was, but he talked about like starting to dabble in some of the altcoins that first came out like Darkcoin, and like he converted all to Darkcoin and tried to transfer it to a wallet without realizing you had to do you had to preface it with a different transaction and lost it all. Like, yeah, he's been in the early days.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good knowledge to take from that. Take profits, fuckers.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I mean, like, there's gonna be a point where like every single coin. I mean, everything has gone up, but I mean, like, it hasn't like really exploded like 2017. Like, you guys, like, this is why I haven't been that scared. But like, other than like maybe a Celsius or a Hex that's really launched, most things haven't really gone that stupid. Really, it's been like, whoa, we're up like 20%, and then it chills out. Like, you know, if we're holding, like, if everything just starts launching, like doing like a 5-10x like in a short, like if something like if a Polkadot went from like $20 to 200 in about a 1 month span, I'd be like, oh, okay, now let's yeah.
We're still missing those gigantic waves of retail investors. Like,
Right.
it's getting there, but we're still not there. Like, I'm getting a lot more, like, I have people coming to me that are no coiners and asking questions, and they're curious, but they're not quite at the FOMO stage where they're just like grabbing me by the collar, just like, how do I get in? Like, we're not quite there yet, but soon. Yeah.
Well, the ones that have at least bought recently, I mean, there's probably a good portion of them losing their coins right now because they're not they bought in at like a local top around, like, I don't know, 2,000 for Ethereum, and then 56 or 57K for Bitcoin. But this was their first lesson to a crypto dip in a bull market.
God damn it, what's up?
What, they are losing their coins. Let's be realistic here.
Yeah,
They don't know. Like, most of them have no clue what they're doing. Like even like, I'm not trying to be like a dick or anything, but like, even, you know, people I introduce like into the market, like, I get these like texts like, oh, like, why is the price going down? It's like,
right.
And those are, and it's just basically they're not familiar like with the market they're just not familiar with like how, like, the candlesticks or whatever, the volatility, all of that's a learning lesson that takes time. So the ones that are going to end up doing well are just the ones that hold their coins and then just sell later. It's all relative to their price entry. So everybody's got to start somewhere.
Hex Monkey, we talked about it earlier. This cycle, you're probably still safe to use USDC, but moving forward, just be careful. We talked about moving a lot of our assets into stuff you're confident in: Ethereum, Bitcoin, Hex, Cell, whatever your flavor is. A good solid project that's going to be around multiple cycles. But USDC, this is probably, this and maybe through the bear, will be the last time that you can probably safely use USDC as a stable coin.
Yeah, Red, I'm still bringing you on, dude. Yeah. Don't trip. I just saw his question right now. No, Randy's another guest we're just adding on top of inside the course. We're also having like a tax consultant as well for the course.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's taxes are scary, you guys. I am not a weak
Not
man,
CPA.
but like, no, yeah, the tax man's scary.
Yeah, they will do anything they can to get their due.
Right.
And if they don't, they can put your ass in jail in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, well,
be
anyway,
careful.
Motley, where's the best place for people to follow you, man?
Motley Investor everywhere, Twitter, YouTube. Yeah, that's about it. Telegram, if you're in the Telegram, most of the Hex chats. But yeah, Motley Investor everywhere should get you to me.
Right. And look into crypto. Where is the best place for people to follow you?
You can find me on Twitter. It's just look into crypto.
Okay, perfect.
Very original, right?
Yeah. Oh, and
Motley Investor, look in crypto. Find us.
yeah.
Litecoin Moses, where can they find you?
Dollar Cost Crypto, as well as a podcast called Dollar Cost Crypto and a YouTube channel called Dollar Cost Crypto.
Boom.
Boom. There you go, sirs.
Boom,
And
bitches.
don't forget the Crypto Mindset Quarter 2 course coming out March 5th. So make sure to
Get
sign
it
up.
while you can.
Get it while you can, you guys. We're only letting people enroll for about 5 days. Yeah, 5 days, and that is it. We're filling
Random
Go
Random
ahead.
question on that. Are you guys going to be able to scale out past 1,000? I know Charlie was talking about issues with Zoom, obviously only going up to 1,000. Have you guys figured out how you're going to structure out past that if you need to?
Yeah, we are going to use Zoom up until the point unless we get basically if we do go over 1,000, then typically even if 1,000 people sign up to the course, usually like not everyone shows up on that exact day and stuff. But if we do end up having that problem, we have a solution for that. But we have to make sure before buying that solution because it's really really expensive.
Really expensive.
Really expensive. That if we do have 1,000 people, then we'll get it. If not, then we'll just use Zoom because we can use 1,000 people on it. Just to be frank, yeah.
Gotcha.
So you guys,
Cool.
hey, thanks.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you guys. We'll have the next one's going to be on Look Into Crypto's YouTube channel.
Yes,
for
sir.
the next, Knights of the Crypto Table, episode 8.
Is it?
Yeah,
I have no
8.
idea. All right.
Yeah, 8. You're
Yeah.
right.
We'll just pick a random number.
Yeah, no, it's 8. It's 8. Hey, that's my lucky number. It's 8. Damn it.
All right, later, you guys.
All right, later, guys.